Good morning. I'd like to call to order the October 10th, 2023 meeting of the Saline County Board of Commissioners. I would ask that the clerk please call the roll.
Commissioner Shadwick?
Here.
Commissioner Vidrickson?
Here.
Commissioner Sparks?
Here.
Commissioner Weiss?
Here.
Commissioner Hay?
Here.
I'd like to ask that you please stand and join me for the flag salute, and followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move to the public forum portion of our meeting where citizens may speak on county government, usually limited to 3 minutes and pertaining to items that are not on today's agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to address the commission? Please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Teresa Swisher, and I'm from 4853 East McReynolds Road. My family and I all live within 2 miles of the proposed battery energy storage facility. This is emerging technology, and I ask you to please strongly step back and take a look at the rules and regs, get some in place before we go forward and affect our communities. I would also like to know what is the process for the appeal and how will the community be notified?
Thank you. I guess I'll address it. The process for appeal would be that the proposed battery company would appeal to the county commission to overturn the commission decision, and it would take a supermajority, I think, at that time to get that done. Notification would be the normal channels of notifying the public of our agenda, which would be a week in advance normally, and it would come out on our website and all the news media that we have contact with.
May I ask one other question?
Step forward, please.
So at that meeting, will the community be allowed to speak, or is this just going to be you guys discussing it amongst yourselves?
Normally, when we vote on something, the public is allowed to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the commission? If not, I'll bring it back to the commission for our next item. The consent agenda, and I think there's an item to be added today.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Regarding the approval of today's public forum agenda, we missed an item that we had previously discussed but just didn't get on today's agenda. This would be an informational item regarding the weatherization program with community housing development, and I'd suggest we take that as item F1 before the emergency management update.
Okay. That having been said, today's consent agenda consists of approval of tax roll adjustments, approval of accounts payable, approval of the public forum agenda, approval of payroll, approval of county commission minutes for September 19th, 2023. All of those in favor, please say aye, unless someone has an objection to it.
I'll make the motion to approve. Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve today's consent agenda. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The consent agenda is approved. And now we will move into the action items. Item number 1.
2023 Operation Greenlight for Veterans Proclamation with Melissa McCoy, Saline County Public Information Officer.
Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning. This is the proclamation for supporting Operation Greenlight for veterans. Whereas the residents of Saline County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the Armed Forces. And whereas contributions and sacrifices for those who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens, And whereas Saline County seeks to honor individuals who have made countless sacrifices for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian communities annually, and whereas an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition to civilian life in the near future, and whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during the transition from military to civilian life, and whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at a high risk for suicide during their first year after military service, and whereas Saline County appreciates the sacrifices of our United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted. Therefore, be it resolved with designation as a green light for Veterans County, Saline County hereby declares from this day, October 10, through Veterans Day, November 11, 2023, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifices of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Therefore, be it resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Saline County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying green lights in the windows of their places of business or residence from November 6th through the 12th, 2023.
Thank you, Melissa. Are there any other activities planned for this
Well,
proclamation, this operation?
yes, we're certainly at the county changing a lot of our lights, especially our outdoor lights, to green lights to show our support for Operation Greenlight. We'll also be launching a social media campaign, educating people on the transition from military to civilian life and how they can support our men and women going through that process.
Any other commissioners have any comments? That I would take a motion then, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we proclaim October 10th, 2023 through November 11th, 2023 as Operation Greenlight for Veterans.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we proclaim October 10th, 2023 through November 11th, 2023 as Operation Greenlight for Veterans. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Melissa, if you want to come forward, I have a signed proclamation for you. And thank you very much.
You gotta be quick.
Too quick? It's her fault. We'll move to item number 2.
2023 Down Syndrome Awareness Month proclamation with Sean Moreland.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so whereas approximately 1 in every 800 children are born with Down syndrome, representing approximately 5,000 births per year in the United States, and whereas while research and early intervention have resulted in dramatic improvements in the lifespan and potential of those who are affected, more investigation is needed in the causes and treatment of Down syndrome, and whereas people with Down syndrome possess a wide range of abilities and are active participants in educational, occupational, social, and recreational circles of the community, and whereas developed by the National Down Syndrome Society in 1995, the Buddy Walk is an annual event in cities across Kansas and the nation celebrating the accomplishments of the children and adults with Down syndrome, and whereas the goal of the Buddy Walk is to promote increased understanding and acceptance of people with Down syndrome while raising funds for scientific research into the causes and treatments.
All right, I'll ask you also, do you have any other activities planned or throughout the area or the county or whatever?
Well, so we just finished the Buddy Walk. It's always the first Sunday of October, and then they will be participating in the Parade of Lights coming up.
And that will be held where?
It's here.
And the location, I mean, is it like at Kansas Wesleyan or Santa Fe Avenue or?
The Parade of Lights, no, it's just the one that goes down Santa Fe every year.
Okay,
It's
all righty. Any other comments from commissioners? I would take a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move proclaim October 2023 as Down Syndrome Awareness Month.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we proclaim October 23 as Down Syndrome Awareness Month. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. You want to step forward? I'll give you the signed proclamation. And we'll hold on this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You may get a recall, Melissa. I'm not sure. We may be doing this all over again. We'll move to item number 3.
Building commissioning with Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Morning, Phil.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. So, in case anybody wasn't aware, we're building a new jail. And one of the last stages of building a major commercial industrial building is typically to double check everything to make sure that the building systems, HVAC, electrical, water, etc., are running the way they were designed and not causing any conflicts between, different climate zones, etc. So that process is known as commissioning the building. We have been reserving funds for that purpose throughout the 2+ years of the budget for the project. And our architects, Trainer HL, solicited 3 proposals for that, and happy to say that 2 of the 3 proposals came in below the amount that we've been holding in the budget. And staff would recommend that we select PBS FSC for building commissioning services. They were the low quote, and if commission approves this today, I do have a contract with them that will be on your consent calendar next Tuesday. Be happy to answer questions.
The floor is open to any commissioners who wish to have questions.
Go ahead, Roger.
Go ahead. I think
Okay.
we're probably asking the same thing.
I was just wondering, a $60,000 difference, are we sure, we're confident that they're going to do the same walkthrough and everything, get everything done for that type of money?
Yeah, I did have that conversation with Brad Clark from Trainer HL. He is familiar with the work that all 3 of these firms do. They're all 3 reputable firms. He said he's comfortable with this firm. He says they normally come in a little bit lower than some of the other firms. They are also affiliated with one of the firms that has done some subcontract work on the building. So they have a little bit of familiarity, but they are not the same group that did that work, so they're not double checking their own stuff.
Okay, good.
A quick question is that in the future, it's like us, myself, I don't know who S&B is, or the PBS, FCE, or the AEI. Are they out of locally, or are they out of Kansas City, or what are these companies' name and where they located at?
None of them are local to Saline County. I believe one maybe out of Wichita and the others out of the Kansas City or St. Louis areas. They're all big national firms that do this. I know one of the firms, SMB, they were one of the firms that did some work on the building did some design work under Trainer's contract for some of the mechanical systems. And then the other firm, as I said, FSC, they also did a little bit of subcontract work. So 2 of the 3, and I believe that's why the 3rd bid was so much higher, because they don't know where we are, haven't been familiar with our project.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Is this going to take place? How quickly does this happen and transition?
All 3 of the firms committed to getting this done by the end of November, so just about the time that the sheriff's office will transition over to the building. So yeah, it's a relatively short process. They're basically just going in and flipping switches and making sure that things, taking measurements and so forth. So.
Okay, is there any public comment regarding this building commissioning? If not, I'll bring it back to the Commission for action.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we approve RFA 2023-197 as presented.
Second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we approve RFA 2023-197. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. That concludes our action items for today. We'll move into the informational items.
So the first item that we added today is an update on the weatherization program. As the Commission will recall, we have partnered with Community Housing Development Corporation of Central Kansas to spend some of our American Rescue Plan funds on helping folks stay in their houses by doing some minor improvements, including weatherization. And so Mike Peterson is here today to give us a little update on that. And then he's also brought a guest because they are partnering also with Kansas Gas Service to sort of extend the reach of what they're able to do in weatherization.
Welcome, Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity. The purpose today primarily is to introduce you to Katie. And Katie's going to tell you about the program that Kansas Gas Service is helping us with. So I'm going to let her start, and then if you have some questions about the weatherization program, we can discuss that.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for
Katie.
giving me a little bit of your time today. I'm sure all of you will see the information that I put in front of you. That just has some information, one about Kansas Gas, and then just more about our weatherization program. So these are the
And
kits.
first of all, your name and the company you're with.
I'm so sorry. I had that wrote down. I just got ahead of myself. So my name is Katie Bowers. I'm with Kansas Gas Service, and I'm actually new to my role here. I've only been with the company for about 3 months, but I am based out of Manhattan. Saline is just one of the territories that I take care of. So.
Thank you.
But we have these kits that we are giving out. We have 400 that I put together this year. Just in my territory alone, our other territories have them to give out to different parts of the state. But I am giving 200 to different organizations, one of them being the food bank here in Salina, and then CHDO is going to get the other 200. So in each box there is a window kit, 2 rolls of foam, a package of outlet seals, and then 2 door sweeps. So these are going to help people winterize their homes. We know how expensive it can get in the wintertime, especially if you have an older home that's not as energy efficient. But then in the back of your booklet that I provided, it just tells you more about the weatherization program. We do have several different programs that people can apply for in the wintertime if they're not able to pay their bill, and so that kind of walks them through the payment plans that we offer because we want to make sure everybody has heat during the wintertime. And it also mentions the cold weather rule, which is where we won't turn off your gas, or you will have gas during the wintertime. There's a certain time of year that we're not allowed to turn that off. So there's all that important information in there. I also provided everybody with my contact information. So if you have, next year we're always looking for other communities that we can help put these out. So if you have some smaller rural communities that you think might benefit from these kits, we would absolutely love to help provide them to them. So it is a great project, and I'm happy to be part of it and happy to help the different communities that we operate in. Anybody have any questions?
I guess my question would be maybe to Phil, but does this application or help out here, does it go through our emergency management group, or who applies this? What group?
So Chodo has been working with us through our ARPA funding to do this same type of work. There's also a weatherization program through North Central Planning that, of course, we're a part of as well. And so just want to, as it's finally gotten a little bit not in the 90s for a couple of days here, so it's perfect timing to just remind folks that those higher gas bills are coming for the winter, and there are things that they can do about it. So would encourage them to contact Chodo, or obviously Kansas Gas Service as well, and see what they can do to reduce those bills.
All right. Any other questions from commissioners? Or?
I just got one. Your weatherization kit, you said it had 2 door sweeps, a window kit, 2 rolls of foam, and a package of outlet seals. of course, most houses have more than one window or anything. Can they come back and go to the winterization plan with Chodo and get whatever else they need to fulfill this, or?
That is a great question. I don't know if they have more supplies that they can hand out, but right now we're just only able to hand out one box per household. But it's just enough to get them started, give them a few ideas, at some no cost or low cost ideas, and there's more information about that on here on just how they can keep their home a little bit warmer. So we'd love to give more out that we could, to do your whole house, but right now we just have enough to do one family household with just the items included in it.
So,
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I have a
speaking of weatherization, Joe, thank you for leading me into that. We have been working with your grant funds to weatherize homes. We have 60 completed at this point, 10 that are partially completed, and we believe we'll be able to do approximately another 10. So when we started the program, the idea was we would do 50. I think when we're finished, we'll do 80. Things worked out very well. We've had vendors have been extremely helpful, including Kansas Gas Service with this donation. We've gotten very good pricing on insulation. We were given half price on an insulation blower, so we've been doing our own work with that. The dollars you've provided should more than recoup what was spent in less than 5 years. So, and what I'm saying is the reduction in energy costs for these homes that we worked on, the 80 that I believe we'll have when we're done, should put that grant money back into our economy very, very quickly, as well as the comfort level. There are numerous stories of things that we've done that we didn't anticipate. A couple were life-saving situations that we didn't know existed until we went in to do a weatherization. The one that comes to mind that I think you'll find probably the most edifying was where they're looking at a gas water heater, and it had been a gas water heater replacing an electrical water heater sometime in the past. We have no idea when. And the person doing that work called me, the contractor, and he said, "We've got a little situation. Would you want me to take care of it?" And I said, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "Well, the 220 line that ran to the previous water heater is still there." I said, "Okay." He said, "It's hanging in the rafter and it's live." And so he said, "I shut the breaker off, but what do you want me to do?" I said, "I want you to put it in a junction box, properly terminate it, and lock out the breaker." Now, I have no idea how long it had been that way. And the homeowner, who was a single woman, had no clue as to why it was that way. Had we not been there to do weatherization, and Jim, you can probably imagine what I'm thinking, but the problems associated with that, we could have easily brushed against it while we were doing other work. And 220 live is an extreme source for potential damage. So, one of many, probably the most unusual one of all of them. But we've done carbon monoxide detectors because we've tightened up all these houses with the insulation, with all the different things that we've done using your grant funds. We felt like that was important. So every house has gotten a carbon monoxide detector. You were talking about, Joe, talking about windows. We've redone windows in terms of weather stripping and that sort of thing. We've had to replace some windows that were in such bad repair they couldn't be fixed. We've done a couple of heat pumps just because, as we all know, this summer was brutally hot, and so there were some things failing. We've done air conditioner compressors. All of this has been an energy efficiency standpoint and a safety standpoint. Our goal was when we left the house to know that we had everything that was a health and safety hazard that we saw was taken care of. Even if it was slightly unrelated to weatherization, we wanted to make sure that it got taken care of. Our goal with the kits is to make those available to people who can use them themselves. If they need help doing it, we'll work out a situation even after the grant funds are expired, or spent rather. We'll be working with volunteer groups to be able to help people put these to good use on their homes. So I don't know, I'm open to any other questions you have about the weatherization program from any of the commissioners.
question. How were these residents
Selected?
chosen? Yes.
Okay. We advertised pretty effectively through both the newspapers, through the internet, through Facebook, through radio programs. All of them meet the criteria for low and moderate income, which is 80% or less of median income for Saline County. We worked with the Senior Citizen Center, was extremely helpful in making people aware of it. There were just a number of, especially county departments, that helped us get the word out. So we've done 15 to 20% have been outside Salina. The remainder have been in Salina, which I think is probably not too far off our population situation. So, but anything else you want to know, I'd be happy to try to share
Anyone
with you.
else?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good.
All right, well, thank you for your presentation, and thank you for helping out those in need.
Well, thank you, and thank you for the grant funds to be able to do that. I appreciate it
You're
very
quite
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 1.
Emergency Management Quarter 3 update with Michelle Wise, Emergency Management Director.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Commission. So first, I will discuss the training that we have brought in over the last third quarter. Compared to the first two, we have kind of slowed it down just a little bit. I know that's saying a lot since we have tried to accomplish a lot this year, but we did offer another CERT training course. This one was more directed towards county employees, so we are offering it several nights throughout the week just to accommodate schedules. We are going to launch week 2 of that training this week. We have a relatively good turnout of 10 citizens, including some minors from 16 to 18 that are also interested, and it just goes on top of any Boy Scouts or civic training that they're getting through other sources as well. We did have the Department of Homeland Security come through. They did an active shooter presentation at the library, but they also spent a week here in town and did several vulnerability assessments for USD 305. The city and county participated in that. Several churches in town participated in that, and more specifically, some establishments and businesses such as the VFW also participated in those assessments. These are anywhere as complex as going through and pointing out OSHA violations, or going through and just talking about security and safety hazards for staff and customers. Exercises in the last quarter that we have accomplished and that we will be accomplishing. We participated yesterday, Dickinson County participated and hosted a active shooter exercise that we would like to bring to Saline County in 2024. They did a 3-location exercise that included their city county building, their health department, and road and bridge. This isn't necessarily where we mainly focus on responding efforts. This was more for employees and citizens to gauge what their response tactics look like, similar to the conversations that we had yesterday at in-service. The airport had their third year qualifying full-scale exercise for fire suppression and triage. In that specifically, there was 16 agencies that participated, so we had a relatively strong turnout for cross-discipline training. And then on October 19th, we will be hosting a tabletop exercise for our tornado exercise, and right now I do have another 16 agencies that will be showing up for that. Not only is it good to have everybody at the table and discuss what their roles and responsibilities will be, but it also gives a good chance for networking with the turnover that we've had in certain positions. Our outreach efforts, excuse me, September was National Preparedness Month. We had several outreach efforts. We gave away preparedness kits that we gave similar earlier in the year. So we gave another 30 of those out. We had 30 Days, 30 Ways, which discussed 30 different tactics to do preparedness, whether it was preparing yourself, your car, your home, your family, or your workplace. We also did radio interviews every week, excuse me. And so I think I talked too much yesterday, I apologize. So through those efforts, we were able to reach quite a few people. We also did have National Night Out on August 1st at Jerry Ivy Park. We had 12 agencies participate and 200
to 150 people that showed up. With that, I will say was pretty impressive because it was 105 degrees outside. So anyone that showed up was a real trooper. But we did get a lot of feedback, and we'll be making some changes, and we'll be providing that again next year. Rural Fire has been busy. They received 3 grants. Rural Fire District 1 did receive the Local Safety and Security Equipment Grant for a new pump and tank to go on a chassis that they have. Rural Fire District 5 did just receive Friday the grant for hazmat rescue equipment. So they will be purchasing that in November. And we are also partnering with other first responders within Saline and Saline County for a first responder wellness app. This essentially goes a little bit farther than any emotional support or incident support teams that are available. This will also be extended to support staff and retired first responders and even the families of first responders that may have to deal with the stresses of the job that goes along with being a first responder. But like I said, we are trying to wrap up the year and keep it quick. One of the big things that we have coming up in December is we will be launching our training and exercise calendar for next year in December. And one of the things that I hope we can start implementing is we would like to do a cybersecurity exercise come 2024. But if you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them.
Questions or responses from commissioners? If not, thank you, and it looks like your department is doing a great job for us, so continue to have the good work. Thank you. We'll move to item number 2.
County Administrator update with Philip Smith Haynes, County Administrator.
Good morning again,
Morning, Phil.
Commissioners. 3 items to update you on today. First off, Commissioners may recall that you all agreed to participate with a number of other community organizations on an effort that the Chamber of Commerce is leading to do a community visioning strategic plan. They're having that event on October 20th, which is a Friday, the session with the consultant. They would like an elected official from each of the participating agencies, board member from each of the participating agencies. Unfortunately, the chairman has let me know that he is leaving town that day, so he was asking if there might be anybody else who would be available on that day. So be happy to take a volunteer on that one. The second item is actually related to public comment earlier. This morning, Planning Director Tim Hamilton did let me know that we have received an appeal from the decision of the Planning Commission regarding the battery energy storage system. And they're going to actually be talking about that again on the 24th at the Planning Commission meeting. There was a lot of confusion, as folks are aware, at the last Planning Commission meeting. So I feel like they need to have a discussion at that level again before it actually comes to your commission on appeal. Wanted to see about schedules because I know we're heading into the time of year that we start creating some problems with holidays and so forth. So if we're looking after the 24th, of course, on the 31st, we have the jail. We'll be out at the jail for study session. November 7th also happens to be the election. Doesn't affect the county, but the city school election. And I had a note that we might not have a full commission that day.
Neat.
Okay. So is everyone planning on being here November 14th as of now?
Yes.
Okay. We will try and schedule that then for 1114 for that appeal. And then the third item I had was it is time again for the annual Kansas Association of Counties conference. It's a little later this year. It's coming up in December, the first week of December this year. But they did, over the weekend, send us the request for voting delegates. So I'll take 3 names for delegate, alternate, and second alternate. So whoever wants to volunteer, whoever's planning on going to Wichita this year, please let me know.
I'm going.
Okay, well, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Got it. That's all I had for today.
All right, thank you. We'll move to item number 3.
Commissioners' comments?
Anyone have anything?
Nope.
And then item number 4.
Announcements?
Once again, no one? All right, looks like we have an executive session for the purpose of non-elected personnel, and I will look to...
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff would request that the commission recess to executive session under the non-elected personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act to discuss performance evaluation of the county administrator for 15 minutes and reconvene in this room at 9:51.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we recess into executive session under non-elected personnel exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act to discuss the county administrator for 15 minutes. And all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. And we'll move on to item number H, which is our agenda items for next week. And looks like we'll have a quarterly budget update, a county engineer update, a consultant for facility management, and sheriff's office vehicle bid awards. Unless someone else has something else to say, I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn today's meeting. All of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.